Whether the team is performing clean or unsightly, we'll cover it all here in Washington Football Nightly. I, of course, am your host, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. Let's get to tonight's lead story. So the Washington football team is now 6-7, winning their fourth in a row with a 23-15 victory over the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday in Glendale, Arizona. Massive win for the football team, especially considering how they got the win achieved by the defense going out and dominating, 2 defensive touchdowns, another turnover leading to a field goal. Washington got a stop at the end of the game to preserve the victory on defense. If not for a Montez Sweat roughing the passer penalty, I don't even know if this is a competitive game. And so when you look at what the defense was able to accomplish in this football game, you got to be able to say this is a team that is really rounding into form and becoming a dangerous, very formidable team down the stretch, whether the offense has it or not. This is the first time this season. And don't look at the record of the San Francisco 49ers. Don't look at the 5-7 heading into the game. And they've had a ton of injuries. They're a well-coached football team. Their defensive coordinator, more likely than not, going to end up with a head coaching job this year. He's done a phenomenal job with the guys that he's had on the roster. With all the injuries, they still come out and play tough, competitive football. Kyle Shanahan, you know how I feel about him as an offensive mind. And they had us on the ropes early in the football game, especially running early on. But this defense came together against a quality opponent, and they were able to force the issue. And I talked about that being a key, is getting after their quarterback, Nick Mullins, because he's one of those quarterbacks that is willing to share. And they got after him big time. They were able to force some turnovers. They were able to force one from the running back. They did a number of things to impact the game, did this defense. And that's what I'm most proud about. And I need to say this off the top, because the worst thing that could have happened yesterday, which was Dwayne Haskins getting in the game. And not because he stinks or this, or it's because it's such a polarizing topic. I don't want to talk about this shit. I don't care about Dwayne Haskins in analyzing every throw. I'm past that. He's not the guy here for me. So I'm past the point. And that's the problem, is because some of you are holding out hope and there are excuses being made and this, that, and the third. I don't care about any of that stuff. I care about winning ball games. We won a game strictly off the strength of the defense, and all anybody wanted to talk about after the game was, well, Dwayne this and Dwayne. To hell with Dwayne. We won 4 in a row. I want to talk about this defense and how they're coming of age right before our very eyes, and how this is exactly what I envisioned when we started to put this thing brick by brick, piece by piece together defensively. This is what I was thinking about. I still think we have to drop the quarterback in the middle, and that guy is not on the roster right now. But that's not the point. We won. And we won because of defense. We wouldn't have been able to do that earlier in the season. As you can see, Dwayne, when he played the first 4 weeks of the season, we weren't able to win off the strength of the defense. They weren't good enough to carry us. Well, they are now. They carried us for a lot of that Steelers game. Now, the offense stepped up and made some plays and helped us win that game. That was not a singular effort put forth by the defense. That wasn't a singular effort. There was a little bit of special teams with Dustin Hopkins knocking down 3 field goals in that game. There was a little bit of the offense making some plays when it had to be made. But the defense gave us a chance because we were struggling for much of the first half. And the defense kept us in that game throughout. And so you see the makings of what we got. We saw it against Dallas. We saw it against Cincinnati to a lesser degree. It was bend but don't break. Joe Burrow was having his way, but he wasn't getting them in the end zone. Now, was he? So we saw the makings of this coming. And then it bled over to Dallas on Thanksgiving in the 41-16 route. And you saw a defensive touchdown in that game. And that was massive. And so you started to see these things kind of creep. And you started to see some of these things. Our first defensive touchdown of the season, I might add, that Montez Sweat picked 6. And so you started to see the makings of what this team could potentially be defensively. And then it bled over into the Steelers game, going toe-to-toe with the Steelers for the first 2 quarters or so with really no help from the offense. And the offense woke up and the defense continued to give us a shot. And then it bled over into this game against the 49ers, and we got our best defensive performance of the year. You know, two defensive touchdowns, a third turnover that turned into points, and a stop at the end of the game when you had to have it to force a turnover on downs to essentially clinch the victory. The defense, I thought, was massive. Montez Sweat forcing that holding penalty. Like, these are all impactful plays. And so I don't really want to talk about the quarterback situation. You know, Alex Smith gives us the best chance to win. I don't think anybody will debate that. Yeah, Alex wasn't good yesterday. And if you want to talk about that to try to lift Dwayne up, knock yourself out, I'm not having that conversation with you. I don't want to have that conversation. Because if Alex Smith is healthy, nothing to talk about. You know, well, you're always making excuses for Alex. And I don't want to talk about that shit. Because Dwayne is not the quarterback here. He might be elsewhere, and good for him. I'm rooting for him. He's not the quarterback here. He's not the quarterback here. I can't deal with the, you know, in the conversation about every single throw. I can't deal with that shit when, if you're making the simple throws, I'm not asking for Dwayne to come in and light the world on fire. Well, he's been out for 8 straight games. He's nuts. That's not the point. If you're an NFL quarterback, I don't give a shit if you've been sitting on the bench for 2 years. And I hate comparing people. I told you, don't compare. It's not fair. Justin Herbert sat on the bench, didn't expect to play. He got the word game time. Game time. Hey, you got to go. Something's wrong with Tyrod's lung. He's going to the hospital. You got to start. He almost beat the Chiefs in that game. Don't talk to me about coming off the bench and he didn't get any reps in practice or none of that shit. I don't want to hear any of it. Terry McLaurin is open 5 yards in front of you and you throw it 10 yards over his head. The same shit we've been seeing all season long. So I don't want to talk about Dwayne. I want to talk about this defense. I want to talk about this 4-game winning streak. I want to talk about how we're taking steps to become a scary team. And, you know, at this point, it doesn't matter who's that quarterback. Of course it does. But it doesn't matter when the defense is playing the way that it played in this game. Doesn't matter who's that quarterback. And that's what I'm excited about. Because that's the makings right there. That's the making of the kind of defense that it's going to take for us to do what it is we ultimately want to do, which is hoist the Lombardi, which has become relevant in not just the NFC East, not just the NFC conference, but in the NFL consciousness. If we want to take that step towards becoming a real power, it's going to come on the defensive side of the football. It really is. We spent all of the draft capital and all the assets on that side of the football. It's time for it to start paying dividends, and you finally got to see it. For those of you who hadn't been watching close enough, because as far as I was concerned, I didn't need that game from Chase Young to solidify the way I felt about him. I didn't need that game for me to feel like that pick was worthy. People have been asking me all year, well, after watching Tua and after watching Justin Herbert, would you take one of those guys? Obviously you would, right? Hell no. Give me Chase Young 10 times over. Give me Chase Young. Hindsight is 2020, but I wasn't a Justin Herbert fan coming into the league this year. I wasn't high on Tua to stay healthy, and he still might not stay healthy. He's looked good. But guess what? I want the guy that I know what I'm getting. I want the known commodity. I'll find a quarterback eventually. I trust the guys in the position of picking these players, Kyle Smith and company. I feel confident that they're going to figure out the right guy for the job. I need this defense to become lights out. And on Sunday versus the San Francisco 49ers, this defense was lights out. And the reason we won the game is because this defense was lights out. And that's what I want to talk about. That's why I'm excited. It's not easy to get excited. It's hard to get excited about 37-year-old Alex Smith. I know he's not the future of this franchise. But you know what else I know? Dwayne Haskins isn't either. I do know that as well. And so I don't really, the quarterback position is a means to an end. It's the defense that's going to carry us home. If we're going to have a shot to beat Seattle this week, the Giants had Colt McCoy at quarterback. Dwayne Haskins can go out and have a Colt McCoy-like game. However, I know if a guy's running a slant 5 yards in front of him or a shallow cross, Colt McCoy is going to hit him. He's going to convert the first down. I can't be sure of that with Dwayne Haskins. I can't be sure of it. His mechanics are horrible. However, if the Giants can do it with Colt McCoy, we can do it with Dwayne Haskins. And that's the point that I'm trying to make to all of you. I'm not having the Dwayne conversation with you because I don't care enough. Because that's not the future. Alex Smith, not the future. Kyle Allen, not the future. Even though I would feel a lot better about Kyle Allen, but not the future. So I don't want to have the debate about the quarterback position. I want to talk about this defense because that is the future. And also, they're the present. Because the reason we're on a 4-game win streak largely is in part to this defense. And you got to give some credit to Alex Smith as well. In the offense, and Terry McLaurin, and Antonio Gibson, and the offensive line. And yeah, you got to give credit. And Logan Thomas, and all these guys, Cam Sims, that have stepped up. Got to give them credit as well. And they deserve it. But the defense is the catalyst. That's what we thought coming into the season. That's what we're seeing now. And I'm damn excited about it. I can't speak for anybody else out there. I am so excited about this defense because defense wins championships. They do. It's an age-old, tried and true method in this league. We can sit here and become enamored with Patrick Mahomes and what the Chiefs can do offensively, and that's great. But for 3 3/4 quarters, Mahomes and the Chiefs had 10 points. 10 points because they were being smothered and suffocated by an elite NFL defense. And the wheels fell off at the end of that game. If we can get to an elite status, I've already said this, and it's too early, it's too premature to be talking about the kind of damage that can be done in the NFC this year. It's way too early. We got to get to the show first. We got to get our ticket to get to the dance first. But I just wanted to put this bug in your ear. Look around the NFC. The Eagles just beat the Saints. I get it. No Drew Brees. I don't care. When's Drew Brees won a playoff game lately? How's his playoff record looking the last 3 or 4 years? The Packers are vulnerable. So are the Seahawks. They just lost to the Giants with Colt McCoy at quarterback. I can't stress that enough. The Buccaneers are having an identity crisis. I mean, look around the NFC. You telling me we can't get in with this defense playing the way that it played this week? And I'm not saying we're going to get that moving forward. But with the way they played this past week, if we extrapolate that over the next 5 weeks into the postseason, 3 weeks and then 2 more weeks into the post, you telling me we can't win a game in the playoffs and potentially scare the hell out of somebody in the second round? In the divisional round? You're shitting me. I don't buy it. At all. One bit. And I don't give a damn who's at quarterback. We scored 2 defensive touchdowns. To hell with the quarterback. 2 defensive touchdowns. That, just the turnovers forced alone. We forced 3 in this game. That was enough to win the game. We didn't need the offense at all. 2 defensive touchdowns, and the other fumble forced by Chase Young, recovered by Deron Payne, led to a field goal. That's 17 points. That's enough to win the game right there. That's it. So, I'm not saying that's what we're striving for, or that's what we attain to be. We want this offense to be functional. We want this offense to score points. And I think with Alex Smith, they're at least functional. They're at least functional. If there's a 7-yard completion there, it's going to be completed. I can't assure you that with number 7 at quarterback. And I was so excited for that first possession that he came in, because he was completing the football and he was just taking what the defense was giving him. And that's all I want from him. I don't want him to be anything other than a game manager. He comes in the game, just don't F it up. I'm treating him like I treated Colt McCoy and some of these other guys that have been here over the years. Just don't F it up. But we've never had a defense like that with Colt McCoy or whomever. We've never had a defense like this. So I don't really want to have the quarterback conversation with you. It's so polarizing. It's almost like talking about politics with some of you. You're not going to win. You don't understand. You don't get it. And you're so blinded by the Dwayne discussion that you fail to realize we just won a ball game with the defense playing out of their gourd, which is what we wanted all along. The Dwayne ship sailed after week 4. I know it's hard for some of you to wrap your brain around that. He didn't get enough time. I saw all I needed to see. I saw all that I needed to see. I'm good. We'll figure it out. Give me this defense. I'll figure out the rest later. Give me this defense. Give me Montez Sweat. Give me Chase Young. Give me Deron Payne. Give me Jonathan Allen. Give me Tim Settle. Give me Cameron Curl. Give me Cole Holcomb. Ronald Darby. Kendall Fuller. Jimmy Moreland. DeShazer Everett. Give me my boys. On the defensive side of football, I'll go to war. I don't know who the hell the quarterback's going to be. I don't give a shit. Give me these boys right here that played in this game on Sunday, and I'm ready to roll. Get in the car, I'm ready to ride. Either you get inside and you ready to ride, or you can stay out here and wait for the bus to come. But you give me those boys, and I'm getting inside and I'm ready to ride. I don't know who the hell the quarterback is. I don't care who the quarterback is. So if you want to have the Dwayne discussion, knock yourself out in the comment section. I won't be partaking in that with you. It's not worth my time, not worth my energy, because I know he's not the future. You can be a Dwayne fan all you like. It was the same thing with Robert Griffin III. We knew after the 2013 season, this ain't it. I could tell you, this ain't it. He done pissed off the guys that made him who he was. I can see where this is going. This ain't it. But a lot of you hung on. You were there for 2014, and you wanted to believe, and I could tell you, this ain't it. This ain't it. But you were steadfast on the organization did this, and the coaching staff did that, and they destroyed him. No, he wasn't it. Dwayne isn't it. He's not it. And it's okay. It's okay. This defense, though, they are it. And that's why I'm so confident down the stretch. Because we can figure it out. We can figure it out. Let's hope Alex Smith is healthy, because that gives us the best chance to win. I think we can all acknowledge that. I hope we can. You know, because there was a lot of people, well, Alex Smith was throwing into triple coverage before he got injured. Okay, cool. You know what else Alex Smith was doing? Completing passes underneath with regularity. He can do that as well. He can run the offense. The problem I have is that I still don't know if Dwayne can run the offense. When he comes in, 3 and outs happen. Over and over and over and over and over again. All of a sudden, a bunch of sacks start happening. Plays start looking out of whack. Easy completions aren't had. Does Steven Sims need to catch a damn ball? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I stressed this already. Could that have been a better throw? You're damn right it should have been a better throw. Should he have caught it? No excuses, no equivocations. You damn right he should have caught that football. But he didn't. And shit happens. Against the Steelers, perfect ball from Alex Smith. Did Steven Sims catch that? No, he didn't. Did Alex Smith go into a tank after that and could not complete another pass the rest of the game? No. That's not what happened. As a professional, shit happens. You got to shake that off, and you got to come out and you got to play competent football. We won the game. Let's get to this game take real quick, and I'm going to break down my keys to the game, talk about whether we check those boxes or not, and then we're going to move on to in other news and get out of here. So in this particular game, I had the Washington defense, because I always list them first because to me, they're the catalyst, as I said, and I knew they were going to be a big part of this game. I didn't know how big of a part of this game they were going to be, but the defense versus San Francisco offense. First thing was must slow down the run game, and we did that. Matter of fact, let me take a look. I think we actually had more rushing yards in this game. We had slightly under 100. Dwayne accounted for negative 12 yards on 4 carries. I hate the fact that they add in quarterback sacks to the total of the rushing total. That's dumb. But, I mean, where else are they going to put it, right? So, that brought us under 100. We had 98 yards rushing in this game. Without Dwayne, it's 110. So, let me see what the 49ers had. Because remember, early in the game, 49ers were gashing us a bit, man. It was not pretty early on in this game. But we settled in, man. We settled in quite nicely, I may add. Let's see. The 49ers had 108 yards rushing. So they had more yards rushing than we did. As a matter of fact, I want to look at some of their rushers. Mostert had 14 for 65. That's 4.6. And Wilson Jr. had 11 for 31, 2.8. So they rushed for exactly 4 yards per tote. 27 carries, 108 yards. We did our job. I mean, honestly, we did. Mostert was gashing us for a bit there. I think he actually got banged up. But we held Wilson down, and we did our job. I was really satisfied with the rush defense. After a slow start, I thought the rush defense kind of stepped up. And I told you, we didn't need to stop it. I wasn't looking for them to average 2.2 yards like I told you with the Steelers, where we just needed to suffocate their run game. I just wanted to slow it down. I wasn't looking to stop it because I don't know if there's a such thing as stopping a Kyle Shanahan rush offense. But we needed to slow it down, and we did. We did. After a slow start, I thought the rush defense was pretty much spot on moving forward. So check there. Limit Raheem Mostert and Deebo Samuel. Well, I didn't know that an injury was going to be sustained by Deebo Samuel on the first snap of the game offensively for the 49ers. I'll take it. It's not what I was looking for, but he had a 9-yard jet sweep rush on the first snap. And you saw that they were going to try to get it to him early and often, and he's a game changer. And him leaving the game, I thought, was massive for us defensively because it took away the one guy that you really had to circle in terms of their skill position players and say, we got to stop this guy. There's already no George Kittle who would have given us fits had he played. So now you just turn your attention to Deebo Samuel and say, if we can stop him, we're pretty much Gucci in this game. Well, he got injured, and you're like, oh, okay, well, just limit Raheem Mostert and you're good. Well, we did that. So you're good. So you get a check there as well. Get to and fluster Nick Mullins. I told you that was a key to the game. The reason why it was imperative that you slow down the run game, the reason why you limit Raheem Mostert and Deebo Samuel is because you want to put all the pressure on Nick Mullins to feel like he needs to win this game. They did that, and you're going to get some mistakes. And what happened is you get Nick Mullins forcing the football, throwing with a little hot sauce to go. And look, he had some drops too. Some guys should have made some plays for him. They didn't. But at the end of the day, he had an ill-advised throw into the flats that was picked off by Cameron Curl. He held on to the football a couple of times, took some unnecessary sacks, including one that from Daron Payne that resulted in a fumble, scoop and score by Chase Young. And then, he missed some opportunities. And I thought that we did a good job of getting to Nick Mullins. He felt the pressure. And I thought it affected him in this game. Red zone D and 2 turnovers. So the red zone defense wasn't great. The 49ers got into the red zone twice. They scored 2 touchdowns. That's not what I envisioned in this game when I broke it down. I thought we could have gotten to them and forced their – I even thought maybe we could force Mullins into a red zone interception or a fumble or something like that. But to no avail. They were excellent in the red zone. They got in both times. They even got a 2-point conversion to get back into the game. So we did not take care of business red zone defense-wise. However, I asked for 2 turnovers. We got 3. So that was massive. It overcame the 1 turnover that we had and then some by both of those, 2 of those 3 turnovers being returned for touchdowns. The offense was so bad. Don't involve the offense in this. Scott Turner was bad inside the red zone. We were 1 of 3 in the red zone ourselves in this football game. Don't involve this offense in this game. Do it yourself. A wise man once told me, you want something done right? You got to do it yourself. Defense, finish the job, okay? Don't leave it to chance with this offense. Get in the end zone yourself, and they did that in this game. It was massive. That block by James Smith-Williams on the Cameron Curl interception, massive, okay? Because if he goes out of bounds there or they call him for holding or something, and the offense has to pick up where Cameron Curl left off, we might not get any points out of that. Okay? So that was a massive block by James Smith-Williams to escort Cameron Curl down that sideline for the touchdown. So all in all, the defense handled 3.5 of the 4 checklist items that I gave them, with the only thing they didn't take care of was the red zone defense. They slowed down the run game. They limited Raheem Mostert and Deebo Samuel. They got to and flustered Nick Mullins, and they forced 2 turnovers. They did one better, and they got 3 of them. So the only thing they didn't do was great red zone defense. The Niners were 2 of 2, but we were able to withstand that and still win this game 23-15. Now you go to the San Francisco defense against the Washington offense, and we pretty much didn't get any of this stuff done. Flood the zones was my first key to the game. I watched an undisciplined 49ers team on Monday Night Football versus the Buffalo Bills be overwhelmed by zones that were flooded with multiple targets, and their eye discipline was sloppy. Guys were running wide open, and I was hoping that we could do the same thing. We didn't flood zones. Guys were falling off of other players and into other zones, like Dick Sherman early in the game when Alex could have thrown a pick trying to hit a deep ball to Logan Thomas, like the interception that he ultimately threw into triple coverage, as someone brought up on the YouTube comment, that Alex Smith threw into triple coverage. Yeah, he did that. He threw into triple coverage, and he predetermined where he wanted to go, just like he did with the Logan Thomas throw. And at times, you will see Alex Smith, and I bring it up in film when he does this, he will predetermine where he wants to go with the football. He'll miss opportunities to go down the field, or he'll miss somebody open because he predetermined where he wanted to go with the football on that particular throw. He predetermined where he wanted to go, and it got picked off. Look deep to short. We actually did do this. I got to give Alex credit before the injury was sustained. He gave Robert Foster a shot down the field. He gave Logan Thomas a shot, even though Dick Sherman did a good job of falling off his receiver and being right in a position to make a play there. And then the interception was him looking deep. You needed to back San Francisco off, I thought, early in this game by taking some shots down the field. I wanted them to be calculated risks. I didn't want them to be forced, shots. But I thought he needed to look deep first and then come back underneath, and he did that. Now, they resulted in incompletions. I thought Robert Foster had a chance, and he stopped twice. But at the end of the day, I thought he looked deep and then came back to short. And I thought he needed to do that to loosen up the defense. Eliminate penalties, live in third and manageable, and polish off drives with 7s. We eliminated the penalties for the most part, although we had an impactful one on Montez Sweat on the defensive side of the football. But for the most part, there weren't many penalties on the offensive side of the football that put us in bad positions. We did have some unfortunate sacks and things of that nature that really hurt us on drives that either took us out of a position to convert, or put us in a position where it ended drives. But we did not live in third and manageable as I had hoped in this game. I thought when we were successful, we were in third and manageables, but for the most part, we were in third and long consistently throughout the game. But we almost converted a 3rd and 5 late in the game on a check down route to J.D. McKissick in the flats where Dwayne hits him. And I just knew J.D. was going to win that foot race, and Dre Greenlaw was able to hawk him down just a half yard short of the sticks. So we were in third and manageable a few times, but not as much as I was hoping for. And then polish off drives with 7. We were horrible in that department. I thought Scott Turner really struggled when we got inside the 10-yard line, inside the red zone really in this game. We were 1 of 3. The 49ers were 2 of 2. We were 1 of 3. And that was the difference in the game. If we would have polished off drives with touchdowns, this isn't even a close game. We score over 30, and the 49ers aren't even close in this game. Instead, we settled for field goals, and it allowed the 49ers to hang around and have a shot late in this game with a chance to score a touchdown and potentially tie it with a 2-point conversion. So a lot of that is on us. We didn't do what we needed to do in the red zone, and it starts with Scott Turner. I thought he abandoned the run at the wrong times of the game. I thought, to spread the 49ers out and go empty in situations once you got down there, it was negligent. We got down there being able to stay balanced and run the football. They hadn't shown any ability to really stop the run at that juncture of the game. Why are we not running the football? I don't understand. So there were some issues there, but at the end of the day, we did enough, and we were able to score enough points to win this game, and that's what all that matters. But we did not get a check there either. And then make them beat us. I thought we did do that. Yeah, Alex turned it over once, but Dwayne didn't turn it over. Although he tried, he did not turn it over. And we didn't do anything foolish. Steven Sims didn't fumble a punt or anything like that. Dustin Hopkins didn't miss a field goal, but he redeemed himself because he made 3 other kicks in the game. So we needed him to step up, and he stepped up and he made kicks. And we didn't turn it over for the most part. We had the one turnover. Again, that was deep in 49ers territory. I shouldn't say deep. That was in 49ers territory, though. So it's not like it was a turnover and they were starting 1st and 10 from the Washington 23. That pick had like at the 32-yard line or so. So they still had to go, if they wanted a touchdown, 68 yards. The way the defense was playing, I didn't see that taking place. So it was like a punt almost. But it didn't need to happen because I think it was on a 1st down. But that's no here nor there. We didn't beat ourselves. The 49ers turned it over 3 times. They self-destructed. We helped them. We forced those turnovers. But we didn't make the mistakes that cripple you in a game like this. They did, and that's why we were victorious and they weren't. And earlier in the season, we were the team self-destructing, like against the Giants, like against the Browns. We were the team turning it over 3, 4, 5 times. We were the team not giving ourselves a chance. We didn't do that here. We didn't beat ourselves, and that's why we came out victorious. So I thought we checked off 2 out of the 4 boxes on the offensive side. Look deep to short. We did that early in the game, and I thought we didn't beat ourselves. We made them beat us, and they couldn't do it. And I told you, I said if we don't beat ourselves, I don't think the 49ers with Nick Mullins at quarterback is capable of beating us. I was right. And even though the offense was of little help in the second half, it didn't matter because we didn't beat ourselves. And I told you, I don't think they're capable of beating us. And they weren't. So that's the keys to the game. I thought we did enough to win. Anytime you check 5 or more of the boxes, I feel really good about that. We checked 5.5 of the boxes, 3.5 on the offensive side, 2 of them on the defensive, 3.5 of them on the defensive side, and 2 of them on the offensive side. That's 5.5. Anything over 5 for me in terms of check boxing or box checking boxes. I feel confident that we're going to win the game. And we did that. So now let's go to in other news. Not much here. Ron had a 30-minute presser with the media. He talked about this football team becoming relevant. And if you watched the victory speech to the team, one of the things Ron said repeatedly in that victory speech is that we're relevant now. People are talking about us. Nobody wants to play us, Ron told the players. And he got a little bit of a rise out of the players when he said that. And you want the players to understand that we want this attention. For a very long time, as fans, what was the mantra we would say? Well, I prefer being the underdog. I like it when nobody's talking about it. That's not true. Because every time we win, you go seeking validation from all of these major networks. And then when you don't get what you were looking for, you come back to me and you're crying about they're not giving us any respect. So you want that. And who doesn't? Let's be honest. As fans, who doesn't want their team being looked at and talked about in a positive light? You want the respect. No one's going to give it to you. And Ron reiterated that in his presser. You got to go out and you got to take that. You got to earn that. And no one wanted to give us credit when you were beating Cincinnati or Philadelphia or Dallas. Nobody wants to give you credit for that. But now you've beaten the Steelers and a very game San Francisco team that just a week ago beat the Los Angeles Rams, who lead the NFC West. Okay, so they're no little sisters of the poor. They're no pushovers, and we did that the last 2 weeks. So I think respect now and Washington are being mentioned in the same sentence. And he wanted the team to understand that's coming your way now. I need you to handle that. And he keeps telling them about being humble. And so he wants the team to understand this is what you worked towards. This is what you worked for the ability to have the respect around the league. Like, okay, this Washington team ain't no joke. We're going to have to come with our A game or we can get beat. And that's what you want. Even as fans, that's what you want. You know, the only reason that I would say, hey, I like it being under the radar is because the team in the past didn't know how to handle success. We'd get a big win and then we'd fall flat on our face the next week. Or we'd get a big win and we'd be somewhat competitive, but we ultimately would lose the next week. This was a setup right here. Beating the Steelers and then having a short week, quick turnaround, got to go out to Arizona against a very game 49ers team. This was a trap game. And I always like to say, every hallway got some crack in it. Don't get trapped in it. Well, we managed to navigate that hallway, and we didn't get trapped in it. I'm proud of the fellas. And I said that after the game, and I'm doubling down on it now. I'm so proud of the way that they've progressed this season. I'm so proud of the message that Ron Rivera has put forth to this team and how they've received that message. That's why the culture is changing before our very eyes. It hasn't changed fully, but that's why it's changing before our very eyes, because in the past, we wouldn't have handled success the way we needed to. Even in the year Jay Gruden won the division in 2015, we still had the letdown versus Dallas on a Monday night with Matt Cassell at quarterback. We still had a letdown against a Dallas team that I think won 3 or 4 games that season. Even in the midst of that run that got us to the playoffs in 2015 when we won the division, we still had a stinker against Dallas on a Monday night. This team is bypassing all of that. And Ron is telling these guys, this is what you worked hard for, but we're not done yet. The journey isn't over. You got to continue to work. And Ron talked about the guys coming together and how they're working hard in the facility. They're coming and they're working out. And instead of those guys being off doing other things, playing video games, they're at the facility and they're getting work in. They're getting their weight training in, you know, on days that they don't have to be there. They're getting work, you know, on their bodies, massages and things of that nature. They're getting all of the things done at the facility. These guys are locked in. And Ron said, that's when you know the guys are buying in, when they're taking those extra steps. And you're seeing it. And when I listen to these players after the game, you hear Ron Rivera in them, and that's when you know your coach is getting through to the players. Because I can remember, just as clear as day, growing up, the players would echo Joe Gibbs. It's like they were robots, and all Joe did was put batteries in their backs. Joe would talk about, oh my God, how good the Arizona Cardinals are. I don't know how we're going to beat them. We're going to need all you fans to show up. And he would talk about just how good. The Cardinals used to stink every year. They were the one team, you know, okay, we can sweep the Cardinals. We're going to beat them twice. When the NFC East was 5 teams. Some of you are too young to even remember that. It wasn't just Dallas, Philly, and the Giants and Washington. It was Dallas, Philly, Giants, Washington, and Arizona. Phoenix before that. It was the L.A. Cardinals. It was the Phoenix Cardinals. St. Louis Cardinals. They're all over the damn place. Phoenix Cardinals. I remember I grew up with the Phoenix Cardinals. Okay. It didn't matter. I thought it was the dumbest thing growing up. Like, when I started to understand world geography, I'm like, how the hell did the Arizona Cardinals, or the Phoenix Cardinals at that time, how the hell did they get in the NFC East? All these teams make sense. Which one doesn't belong? Didn't make sense to me as a kid. Why do we got to go all the way out there to play them? All our other games are right up the street. We got to go all the way to Arizona? Doesn't make any sense. But we would beat them every time. And we would smoke them a lot of the times. But Joe would tell these guys, man, they got some players. They got some players, and if you're not careful, they're going to beat you. And you would hear that in the players. And that's what I'm hearing from these guys, is they're believing in what Ron is selling. And they're echoing his message. And Ron's getting through to those boys. And that's all I told you. I didn't care about the mixed messaging or what he was telling the media and how people were confused. As long as the guys in the locker room understood the message. That's all I cared about. And obviously, that is in fact the case. Listening to Daron Payne, listening to Cameron Curl, listening to Chase Young, listening to Montez Sweat, listening to all of these guys, Jonathan Allen, there's a consistent message. And they continue to harp on doing the little things, paying attention to detail, doing your job, being where you're supposed to be, being accountable. These are things that we weren't as an organization. How the hell are you going to ask your players to be accountable when the organization itself isn't accountable? Well, that's starting to change now. This is, and so I urge you guys, don't focus on the ancillary stuff. That stuff is there to distract you. Don't focus on Dwayne or Alex or any. Those guys aren't part of the future. I want to win now. And so it does matter who's playing quarterback now. But I'm looking big picture too. This defense is the future. It's the present. Okay? And it's also the future. Focus in on that. Focus in on that. That's what's going to help us win. We won in spite of the offense on Sunday. When you start doing that as a defense, now you know you got something. We got a hell of a test coming up on Sunday in the Seattle Seahawks. They just put up 40. They got a get-right game against the Jets, and boy, did they ever get right. That was like a bye week for them. 40-3. I hate it. I hate it. But it's all good. We'll get a week of normalcy for the first time in a long time. And I'm expecting Alex Smith to be well enough to go. If he can't go, get Dwayne up to speed, get him a full week's worth of practice, and let's go out and try to win us a ball game on Sunday, man. That at the end of the day, I'm just trying to unite everybody as one. Whether you team Dwayne or you team let's draft a quarterback or let's go get one of these guys at Stafford or Darnold, let's trade for one of these dudes. Whatever team, whatever side you're on, we all fans of the same thing. And that's winning with this football team. So to hell with all of that. Let's focus on the task at hand. Winning this damn division. And whether it's Alex Smith or it's Dwayne Haskins, it's this defense that's going to lead the way. The sooner you understand that, the easier the conversation becomes. But I digress. I'm excited. I don't know about you. That's 4 in a row for the good guys, man. 6 and 7. We got a chance to get back to 500. It's not going to be easy. It's not. And it becomes exponentially harder if Alex Smith isn't healthy, taking all the first team reps this week. It really does. But it's not impossible if Dwayne's taking the reps. It's not impossible. Because if the Giants can do it, and I remember somebody saying that, and they said, well, if the Giants did it, why can't we do it? Because our defense wasn't playing at this level then. I read a crazy stat on the podcast. Just to let you know that just because the Giants lost and their offense looked anemic, they're not dead. Not by a long shot, okay? The Arizona Cardinals should have won that game 40-7 against the Giants on Sunday. But instead, they won the game 26-7. Why? The Arizona Cardinals were 2 of 7 in the red zone. Let me repeat that a little bit louder for the people in the back. The Arizona Cardinals were 2 of 7 in the red zone versus the New York Giants on Sunday. That's winning football. Too bad the offense didn't get the memo. You hold a team to 2 of 7 in the red zone, and first of all, you're not even supposed to have 7 trips into the red zone. That's how bad the offense was, and the defense, in spite of all of that, still had them in the game 20-7 midway through the fourth quarter with a chance. Speaks volumes to this Giants defense. Don't count these boys out. They're capable of beating the Browns on Sunday Night Football next week. I don't think they're going to beat the Ravens, but they're capable. With this defense playing the way it's playing, and that was the thing that was missing with me with this team. I didn't think we were capable of dominating a game to the point where we had a chance to beat a team that was better than us. Now I do. We didn't do that on Sunday. Vegas thought the 49ers were better than us. We were not favored to win that football game. And when you look around, A lot of people still thought, 49ers coming off of a big win versus the Rams, playing better football. They're getting healthier. They're a scary team. They should be able to take Washington. Well, I thought differently. So did this defense. Now I want to see if this defense is going to continue to do this or if that was an aberration. I think we know what the answer is. This defense is trending in the right direction. We're going to get a hell of a test. We haven't seen a quarterback like Russell Wilson since earlier in the season. Okay, we haven't seen one of these types of guys since you got to go all the way back to Lamar Jackson in week 4. You know, Kyler Murray in week 2. We haven't seen one of these types of quarterbacks. I mean, you could say Stafford in week, what was it, 10? You could say Stafford, I guess. But it's going to be a hell of a challenge. I'm looking forward to it. But enjoy the win. I'm not ready to talk about Seattle yet. Enjoy the win. We got some film to break down. Enjoy the win. I know I am. I can't speak for anybody out there. I'm going to enjoy this win. It's 4 in a row. We're 6-7. So I'm going to get out of here. Allow you to enjoy Monday Night Football and all that comes with it. I'll be back live after Monday Night Football. This is going to be a dandy. Ravens, Browns. If nothing else, I just want the Browns to come out of this game healthy because they got some work to do for us, okay, next week against the Giants. So even if they lose this game, which I anticipate they will, I just need Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt and Baker Mayfield and Donovan Peoples-Jones and Jarvis Landry and all of their skill guys on offense and Myles Garrett and all of those guys on defense to come out of this thing healthy so that they can put it on the Giants next week. That's all I'm looking for. Quality football game, but all I'm concerned about is the Browns. I got an agenda here. So we'll see what happens, but I thank you guys for joining me. Can't wait to read your comments. I was going to say something really polarizing tonight. I decided not to do it because I don't want to start that. I don't feel like dealing with that. It's unnecessary. And I've already said, I don't want to have the quarterback conversation, so I don't need to inject that into the conversation. I just want to focus on winning, man. And I want to focus on this defense because the defense is the present and it's the future. None of the quarterbacks on the roster are the future. Some of you may think Dwayne is part of the future. That's your opinion, and you're entitled to that. At the end of the day, I know this for sure. This defense is a part of the future. They are the future. They are the present. Let's ride that wave. And see if we can't win 2-3 more ball games the remainder of this regular season. Get us an NFC East chip and go do some damage in the postseason off the strength of this defense. Why not? I'm your man, Louie T, ready to sign off out of here. Before I do, I just want to encourage you guys to subscribe to LouieTeeNetwork if you haven't already done so. Go ahead and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing here on the LouieTeeNetwork. And hit that like button if you haven't already done that as well. I appreciate the support. I truly, sincerely do. With that said, I'm your man, Louie T. This has been Washington Football Nightly. I look forward to chopping it up with you guys later on in the week. Tomorrow here on the program, tonight, if you game, come join me on the overtime of Monday Night Football. If not, I'll chop it up with you guys tomorrow here on Washington Football Nightly, and hopefully I'll see you on Wednesday when we go live. Until then, have a good one.
Here comes the Diesel. Here comes the Diesel. There's the snap, hand to Riggins. Good hold. He's got the first down to the 40. He's gone. The 35, the